Hello, this is a Leshark and Friends
And Russell.
and Russell podcast. And on today's show, we're talking to legend chef and owner of Tatonka Restaurant Harold Schwarz. German-born Harold, or the Big H, is one of our 9 German listeners, and he tells us about his journey to Phuket, starting in the kitchens in Germany as he travelled around the world mastering his trade until an opportunity to bring German sausage to Bangkok was the catalyst to him living and working in Thailand. We like Harold, he's super cool. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the podcast.
Can we start off by learning some good German swear words? So I think
I have to think about it. Because I'm trying to keep a good language because you've been in
I
public
don't know
now.
what our German listenership is like, to be honest. It might be quite wide and varied.
9 people.
Yeah, I like it.
So, Harold from
Yeah.
Tatonka,
Yeah.
as in the Big H, as Russell decided to call you. Thank you for being on.
It's a pleasure.
We've heard that you're a regular listener. I say regular. You've
Or
listened
lately,
to
because I have a bit more time. Before I didn't have the time for it, and it pops up, And if I see somebody, a lot of these people I know,
Yeah.
some I don't know, I never met, but some I know. So it'd be interesting to see what is their story, because many times same as me, many people don't even know about your background and before you came here, what you've been doing, and still,
Prior to this, obviously people will find out as we go through the pod, but nobody knew that you used to work for CIA. So it's things like that come out on these sort of podcasts.
What's the German equivalent of CIA?
Ask the German.
What's the German equivalent of CIA? What's your secret service called?
Secret Service.
Yeah.
They have Geheimpolizei.
Yeah, that's what I was
Which
going to
is
say.
Actually, I never had anything to do with them.
Sure?
No,
Yeah,
not that I know. Maybe just keep that a secret, right?
Harold, how long have you been on Phuket for?
Long time already. Came here 94.
Wow. And
That's
that
26
27.
years.
and,
26 and a bit.
and obviously you're from Germany even. Did you come directly from Germany to Phuket, or was there anything?
I had a direct flight, Munich, Bangkok. I did, yes, but
Okay.
I've been roaming around a bit, with my profession. I've been roaming around, cooking, chefing, in, all over the place. Not all over the place, but quite a bit. And then one day the opportunity came, and I was back. I was already abroad, and I was in the States, and I was in France, Switzerland. I went back to Germany for a short period, and then a friend asked me to join him to come to Thailand to open a restaurant in Bangkok, and that was in '94.
Okay, so let's really track back then. So how did the cooking start? When did that passion erupt inside your body?
It's funny because most chefs will tell you they learned it as with their mother when they're like really young age. This is a cliche.
I heard
this
a lot
is
of porn
something what
stars
people
say
want
that
to
as well.
know, right? Which is, a lot of people pick it up later. No, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at home. I didn't get inspired at home. My mom was an okay cook, but she wasn't really. It wasn't really like wow or this and that. What we did was baking every weekend. We baked cakes or cookies and stuff like that. And I loved that, But funny thing is that my brother, who's a year older but left school 2 or 3 years before me, he enrolled as a pastry chef, and I didn't want to compete with him. So I always wanted to have a job where I can travel the world. I was fascinated when I was a teenager watching documentaries and all that all around the world. I said, I want to have a job where I can get around in the world. And photography was actually one of my passions, but it's just not so easy to, be a National Geographic photographer. How many end up doing just wedding pictures or in studios and working this way? I didn't want to do that. I tried, but then one day I had a chance. I left school. I decided not to study. I want to do something with my hands, and I didn't want to keep on reading books and stuff like that. So I was always doing little jobs when I was young, on weekends. We worked in a bakery. We worked in hotels doing dishwashers. We do bellboys in hotels and earning extra money on weekends. Have pocket changes on. But somehow, and I had friends who actually started cooking and worked in a hotel. I worked with them and did the dishes. And somehow one day, when I left school, I said, okay, I had an opportunity to have an apprenticeship in the best restaurant in the area. And
which area was that? Were you?
It's in Upper Bavaria. It's close to the Austrian border. It's an hour south of Munich. I grew up in a small town. It's a skiing area. In the winter, everybody's up skiing. In the summer, it's all outdoors. And in that next bigger town, which was 10K away from that, where I went to school, I had the chance to start working in this restaurant, and I was so lucky. I was 18 then, and we were only 6 apprentices, 1 chef. We got the Michelin star the next year. The following year I was there, and we're able to do everything. Because many times when you start young in the kitchen, you do all the shitty work. You peel onions, potatoes, kill all the fish, and all that dirty work. But we were able to do everything. So I had a great.
So that was your culinary school was The Apprentice.
Right. We went to school, and in the old days it was like 4 days a week you would work in a restaurant. 1 day a week you would go to school to learn, classic stuff, theory, all the thing you need to know to pass the test eventually after 3 years. But it's most of the things you really learn at the job.
So during that training period, was there a part of the kitchen that you were more passionate to go towards? Was it pastry, or was it fish or meat or salads?
I like it all. I like the variety. I like pastries, yes, I do, because I always had a sweet tooth, but then I didn't want to compete with my brother. So, and if you become a pastry chef, even in hotels or restaurants, there's a limited position available. When you're good overall, you have a lot more choices. Sure. So you don't want to. At the end, you need to specialize, whether you do pastries or you do the other cooking. Only in small places, maybe people do everything,
Did your brother have the drive to get into, to be a pastry chef? Was that his, I want to go down that direction, or a little bit like yourself, just?
No, it wasn't. He wanted to be a policeman, and it just happened, that you have.
So we got to the P's.
Everybody thinks we have something at home, like my parents. They have a hotel, a restaurant, and stuff like that. Because both sons are actually ending up in the culinary scene, right? So, but no, it just. But he's really good what he's doing, and I think I'm doing okay as well. So, but for me, it was just an opportunity to get out in the world, and I didn't stay very long in Germany.
That's my next point. So, when did the first steps take outside of Germany?
After the 3 years, I went to Munich to work in.
Munich's still in Germany, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, just about. Yeah. Munich, right? It's the next big city, and worked there, and then I got the chance to. I made friends with a guy who recruits people to go overseas to Bermuda, and I had friends who've been there. I said, "Wow, great island, beautiful, fun, and okay, let's go." Told my parents, might not see me for a while, I'm going now, pack my bags. 6 months later, I'm back.
How old were you at the time?
I was 22.
Okay.
What happened in Bermuda?
It was only basically a high season contract.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Because it is not all year round.
Sure.
It's not quite as far south as the Caribbean. So in the wintertime it gets stormy, windy, and you don't have many tourists there. So most jobs are kind of seasonal, March till October, something like that. So I worked in one of the best restaurants on the island in a golf resort, but with French and German chefs. But I noticed that I was on that culinary thing, and I noticed that I need to go back to Europe to learn, more things, more basic skills and all that, and have a good CV, a good resume. Go to France, Switzerland, the classic way, some good places, and then venture overseas.
So that was your plan, So your plan was to go and learn more because you just didn't know the classic basics much. Well, you did know some of them,
but I was,
as much as you needed
after
to.
3 years, you learn the basics, you're far
Yeah.
away from being really a complete chef. Nobody really is, but, to be able to go overseas and ask for a decent salary, you got to have a good background and some skills. So I went back to work in Switzerland, in France. Usually we go like seasonal, so I can, because I love to do sports. So I go skiing, I miss that. I go skiing, work in a skiing resort, and in the summer go somewhere either the seaside or lakeside to enjoy that as well. So that was great. I worked hard there in Switzerland and France. You work hard, but you learn a lot. You make good friends, you meet good people, but you also live in a beautiful place. That's
Absolutely,
what I love about this job,
Almost sort of culturally, being in France and Switzerland, would be the places that you would go to learn.
Definitely.
Yeah, right.
I mean, once you got some good names on your CV from these places, it's recognized all over the world.
Yeah.
So then makes it a lot easier in the future to get a job somewhere. Yeah. So.
And when did the American thing happen?
Well, that was after I thought I'm ready to go overseas again. I thought. Well, that was in '89. I was 24 then, and I did a few seasons in Switzerland and France. It was tough, but I learned a lot. I managed to become very fluent in French as well, which I never did when I was in school, but there I had to, and I got kicked in the butt hard at work, especially in France. It's tough there. I remember I was in the hotel. I was the only one of 40 people in the kitchen who was not French,
Right. Okay.
So then you really learn the language,
Yeah.
What's when you were growing up, before we get to now, was French, because the French cuisine was at that time was kind of the pinnacle. If you knew French culinary, that was, everyone said that French food was the best. Was that your opinion as well when you were going there, and that's why you wanted to really push with the French thing, and that's why there was lots of French people working? There's a lot of questions in that bit.
Partly, yes. It's definitely at that time French cuisine was on its pinnacle, and then it was, if you had worked in France and if you done that, it's a bit accolade, right? But I wouldn't say it's the best, especially if you haven't been to Asia yet, right? That was the next. That was a step further. That was a step further. But your basic skills, you definitely learn that, because the way they work, and they still do in France, is very traditional, and it's a lot of work to the way they do things. It's to make the sauces, to make this and that. It's just it's very complex.
Has it moved on since those times?
I'm sure, yes, yeah.
But I guess we're not there, so we don't see the.
Well, we always will be these traditional places, restaurants, the traditional cuisine, which well done will be always thought after and successful. Classic cuisine will be, we always support us for that. But especially for the young people, they like to move on. They want to see something new, something different. And I felt after all these years, I always said, you got to come to Asia, because when I started, there was not much talk about it. But actually, when I went to the States to work there, then it came to me. Especially being on the West Coast, the Asian influence now and then, the food with the Pacific Rim, and that bit of fusion starting to getting the Asian influence in there. Then it just gets to you, and that's what's happening.
So whereabouts in the States did you end up?
I got a job offer from Four Seasons in Newport Beach, Southern California. So that was fantastic. Newport is a pretty ritzy area, and I always remember that, because when I went there, I didn't have much money, so I wanted to buy some wheels. Somebody offered me for $200 an old Ford Torino. It was so
nice.
It was so ugly, and the police pulled me over so many times, because there were Beamers, Rolls Royce, in that neighborhood. It's a very rich neighborhood, and I drive around, and they would just pull me over so many times because I had this big ugly car. Took a lot of gasoline, but it took me around. It wasn't expensive then, but it took me around. Okay.
Over in America, is that the first time you kind of touched with the Asian flavors, and that's the first time you kind of felt them?
Yes.
Felt them. That's the first time you felt an Asian. Was it in America? So what sort of things were you cooking there? Was it more Japanese and Hawaiian kind of, or Polynesian flavors?
Well, actually, Hawaiian was later when I moved to Hawaii.
Oh, wow, okay.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a year in California where you have it's Asian as well, but you also have a lot of Southern exposure. You know, South American, Middle American, because a lot of Latinos are in California, working also with you, colleagues, Mexicans, Ecuador, and they bring in, especially in Southern California, Mexican influence is very big. And the food, there's Mexican restaurants, there's Mexican food, and it's big there. And that's what people like. Asian, yes, a little bit, but it was more that. But then I moved to Colorado after 1 year in California.
Nice.
And then worked in Aspen, you know, able to ski, like fantastic.
The skiing up there is amazing.
The best.
Oh,
fantastic.
I skied Vail 1 year, and it was just every morning I just woke up and there was just powder. It's like it didn't even snow last night. Where's this come from? And it just amazing skiing.
And working in restaurants, you can ski every morning. I mean, I skied my butt out. I really skied so much, and it was my favorite sport still. Well, now it's getting.
I was going to say you don't get much of it,
difficult. No, I haven't. But it was,
So let's move forward a little bit. So in '94, you got the call to come to Bangkok. So how did that all happen?
Yeah, I was back in. After 4 years in the States, I went back to Germany, and I got a call from a friend to help him out. His chef in the kitchen is giving him a bit trouble. He's not. It's difficult.
So your friend was here already?
We knew each other through a common friend. Okay. We apprenticed together, and then I got this call. I wasn't planning to stay. I wanted to move on. I just wanted to come home after 4 years. I haven't been home 4 years to see my parents and my friends, and then I wanted to leave again. But then I got this phone call. I said, "Okay, I'll help you out," and somehow it became a whole year. And after this year, I said, "Nah, I gotta go now. This is, you know." He was okay, and then he got this opportunity to open this authentic Bavarian restaurant in Bangkok, and he asked me, "You want to be on my team?" I said, "Sure." Probably not coming back after that, but you know, I'm gone.
So what is Bavarian food?
To be honest, I mean, I eat it, but I never really practiced it, you know, because when I learned the cooking, it was more like a French version of with local ingredients, lighter cuisine, more refined. I did never do the typical Bavarian cuisine. Typical Bavarian cuisine is lots of meat, pork, dumplings.
Quite heavy.
You know, stews, rich food, generally. Rich food.
Sausage and beer.
Yeah, of course, sausage as well. You know, beer, a lot of pork, using other pork. You know, eat chicken and duck too, but mainly pork. Cabbage, you know, just real
good for the
food,
vegans, basically.
Right.
Go to Bavaria. Lovely place.
But
so it wasn't so much the cuisine, but it was more the opportunity.
It was never my thing.
Yeah.
But for me, I said, okay, I can do it.
Yeah. And this was your first. So Bangkok was your first experience of Asia as a whole.
True.
Wow. What was that like? Look at the little smile on his face.
You love it or hate it. Actually, really, it's either you said no, that's it. I ran away. Especially Bangkok. Bangkok is just so
intense,
overwhelming. You know. And then, I didn't love Bangkok. I'm not a city boy. I am a country boy. I grew up in the country. I love nature. I love animals. I don't like the city. It stresses me out. But I love the food. I love the women. The smells of good and fresh food everywhere. Warm temperature. Easygoing lifestyle. If you're not stuck in traffic, okay. But then, all that. And then I said, okay, this is all nice, but not Bangkok. So after that, we finished that job. It was just handing over that opening to their staff and all that, train them, and then got my money, and then went down to Samui on a week holiday with my friend. It's been there before. I was in small bungalows in Chaweng. It was beautiful, all that. Looked around, Samui is a bit small. You know, it's nice, but to live there for a long time, it's a bit. You always need either a plane or boat to get there, and it's a bit small. Then we went to Phuket for a week after that. That's it. Great. All my friends left. I stayed. I started looking for a job around here, and then I knocked on some doors, and then I got the job at here in Laguna, right down the road.
So this is about 95, 96?
That was 94, still 94.
Oh, still 94, okay.
Still the same year. Because the opening Bangkok was only 2 months.
Oh, wow, okay.
So at the end of 94, I came down here, and just middle of December I started, here at
I didn't know you worked at
So who are you
Laguna.
working with?
Wow.
There were some, they're all gone by now,
Yeah.
The GMs don't really last very long.
I mean
but
the hotels. Which hotels were you
Dusit.
You worked at Dusit? Okay,
Dusit.
cool.
That's where I met my girlfriend then.
Right, okay.
She was the manager for all the sport and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
My kind of girl.
see, the podcast listener won't get that. The way you just did that look to Russell. Sports. Nice. That's what it came out like.
The cheeky little
Right.
grin.
The cheeky little grin was lovely.
So whenever I wasn't working, I had time off. I would go out with the laser. I go with the kayak. I do this and that. She was in charge of water sports and all that. Tennis,
I should explain to Russell. Laser's a boat. Not James Bond. I know he's got the accent to be a James Bond baddie, but he's not trying to, laser him in half.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
I got
I
that,
knew.
but
I
thank
knew.
you.
I
Yeah.
knew.
Okay, just
Anyway.
I have to keep him up
Right.
sometimes. He'll keep me up sometimes.
Yeah.
We should probably be careful how we say that. But anyway.
He kept me up. It's been a long time, Russ.
But hotels are hotels is I wasn't here in Asia. It's very political. It's like it's in the hotels. There's so
It's
much
still
politics.
like that now,
It is.
It's stupid. I
Who
don't
is-
like
who
working
is
in
who's
hotels.
boss, and then everyone's like, Jesus, we
The
can work
different
together.
department, the
It's
different departments don't seem
Yeah,
to want to
yeah,
work
yeah.
together.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all very
It's like
kind
a-
of.
When you
a war behind the doors.
Yeah.
It's like Jesus,
Just-
who can screw? And then it was
No,
like,
that is
yeah.
who can screw who, and
Yeah.
that's what and everyone's in it for. This is where my tribalistic thing I get, and it's
Yeah.
it's like that in hotels. You get the different
Yeah, yeah.
tribes of the different groups.
Yeah,
They all
yeah.
are so.
Exactly.
No one wants to work
Yeah,
together
yeah,
and
no,
drive it
no.
forward.
No.
Apart- there are some differences. Sorry, we're going to get on
Sorry,
hotel now. Is Trisara? I feel there's a difference in Trisara attitude, and when I've gone there, the staff do all seem to pull together, all seem
Right.
to work together. Now maybe that's because of El Presidente, Mr. Lark. I don't know, but there's a difference. And maybe with just some hotels that
Well, they pull the
the same.
best people from everywhere together.
Yeah.
True.
A place like that, they can select.
afford it.
They
Yeah.
can select and can afford it. They
but
get
yeah,
the best people.
you're right. Genuine hotels
yeah.
are very. Ugh.
Out of interest, before you went to the Dusit, obviously you've been here for a little while. You don't want to go back to Europe. You want to stay here in Phuket. So it was a case of, I just need to find a job. Is that
Yeah,
the
I liked
thinking
it,
at the
but
time?
I had the intention, when I had this job offer for the opening, which was only, of course, very
Yeah.
limited time, good money though, very limited time. But I said, if I like it, I should stay,
Okay.
because I always wanted to come to Asia.
And did you have any outside of that? Did you have any idea of I want to set up my own thing, or I just want to work here and?
No, because I knew it was difficult to
Right, okay.
get situated. That's usually is we need a work permit,
Yeah.
you need all this and this and that. And
So it's
you
just
end
something-
up in
oh.
hotels. I've done it so many times. You cannot just go in a new country and
Yeah.
do your thing, unless you're very well connected. But generally, you start, and then you start looking around. That's what I did, One
So-
high season there, and that was it.
And how long were you at Dusit for?
Just one high season.
And then,
Because apparently they created my special position only to back up the executive chef, and their position normally is not really in that hotel
okay.
available, so it was only good for the season. But never mind, I said, okay, I had enough of hotels. I want to do my own thing, but I needed to have a bit more money, and I need to find a bit the right thing,
So after you robbed the bank and got the money, is that how it happened or not?
I did a few consulting jobs after that stint at Dusit, and I went to Malaysia, to Penang, to work there for 2 months, consulting. And consulting is tough work, really, but long hours, a lot of stress, and everybody expects you to change the whole thing in no time around to make it successful, and but it's well paid, and so, and I did another opening in Singapore for the group, which I did in Bangkok, so that was another 2
Was that another
months there.
Bavarian restaurant in Singapore?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a microbrewery, they do the microbrewery there and do authentic, and that was
Whereabouts
next to
was
the
that?
Conrad, right next to the
What, Brewworks?
Suntec City. Well, that one was called Polana Brewhouse, which is Polana is a Munich brand, big brand of beer brand. Right? So they did a few actually. They had one in Beijing. They have a few around Asia now. So I did that, and then I said, okay, I have money now. Not a lot, but enough to start off. And then I looked around here. I said, this is a good area. I mean, 5-star hotels, all that. Not much around it, so maybe only on the beach. I had a few restaurants there, but I said, looked around and then found this shop house available. And
all right, so this is where I want to ask now. So this is where the Tatonka dream was born, in this little shop house.
Yeah.
Tatonka.
Yeah.
So you're a German from close to Bavaria. You've worked in America, so I guess there's going to be a little thing there. But you like Asian food. You liked Asia. So where does Tatonka come in? Although, unless you're a WWF wrestling fan and you watched WrestleMania 4 or 5 when Tatonka came out.
You know, actually, it started earlier when I was young, because I always loved to watch Western and Indians and cowboys,
the spaghetti
and all
westerns,
that.
Those ones. Yeah, okay.
The Italian one.
Yeah.
Isn't some of them are born in Italy, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I always liked that, but it really started kind of clicking when I was in Colorado, when I worked there. And it was my birthday, and one of my colleagues gave me this beautiful North American Indian cookbook, which was not so much about recipes like campfire stuff and this and that, but it was full of graphics and illustrations and native Indian art, and it's like, it followed me everywhere. And I was there, and they had a lot of buffaloes in that area, in the mountains area.
Just to let you know, where I grew up in Southend, there was a lot of buffaloes as well.
Yeah,
ugly munters they were.
Right. And I used to love to go to the movies on my day off when I was working in Aspen, and Dances Wolf comes out now. Dances with Wolves.
You watched the whole 3 hours?
Yeah.
Oof.
I watched it many times.
Really?
One of my favorite. And that's when I first heard it, thanks to Kevin Costner, right? Tatonka.
Really?
You remember the scene?
Yeah.
If you're a fan of that, you remember the scene where he explained the native Indians that he saw the buffaloes.
Yeah, okay, I remember that scene.
And he was doing, and they said, Tatonka, Tatonka.
See,
that's the bison, and that's where it
comes from.
That's where
so
it comes from.
Tatonka is bison?
The bison, yeah, it's the big buffalo. Yeah.
See, like I said, my only history of Tatonka is the wrestler. But I'm the only one that was going to get that.
Really? I didn't know. I didn't get that one. No?
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, when your friend gave you the recipe book from a Native American, that it was just sort of some drug infused kind of leaves that you go and you take this tea and then you're lying there and all of a sudden it all goes cloudy and steamy and you're up in the air and you're overlooking and this Indian rides across the clouds.
Going Tatonka.
Tatonka. Tatonka.
Yeah, it's all up here.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So there was drugs involved. So that's what we're trying to get to. Yeah. So when you came up there, I said, was Tatonka in your name for the restaurant for a long time before you even set it up?
No.
So how did that, or when did that brain
light bulb go? I got hand on this shop house. It was a 2-story shop house where we still are now, and it was just a very ugly ceiling, all concrete and all pipes around us, not covered and everything. So I thought, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to cover this somehow. And then I had this idea to make it like to put canvases on a bamboo frame inside, which people thought, is he crazy? You got a roof already, why are you going to put it? But that was the idea, to make it like a teepee.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And we painted, all of them are hand painted. I paint these things myself usually. I like that. This is fun.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Everything in the restaurant, all the walls, everything. I paint.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did all the artwork.
Yeah,
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah, I always like to do that.
The one thing I notice when I go there is the toilets with all the different place names.
Yeah.
Now, is that places that you've been to?
That I worked.
I thought that was it.
Yeah. I want to put it somewhere. People ask, what's it all about? Globetrotter cuisine. It's like, funny thing, one guy put something like Red Dog. He wrote something on a towel. He thought everybody can write something on that. It's crazy. Still there. People ask me, you work in Queensland in a Red Dog hotel? I said, no. Somebody put a pen and wrote it on the towel.
I'm not saying to do this, right? But next time, anyone that goes to Tatonka, take a pen with you and go and start writing different places. McDonald's, London.
Thank you. make sure all the tiles are written on already. Yeah. There's no more vacancy there.
Mama's Noodle Shop.
Yeah.
There you go.
Bogner.
So when did the restaurant itself, because the food is interesting there. So you've got a Tatonka, so you've got a red Indian name, and then you've got a real mixed fusion of food from a. So how did you create that menu? And was it the same when you first opened, or has it evolved into difference as we got? Whatever?
I had this idea of, doing this style, and I always actually stayed with my style, but it evolved. It refined, of course, over the years. It really reflects my background, places I worked, people I worked with. Like, for instance, one of my favorite dishes, which has been on there for a while, is like a Cajun zero, the blackened tuna, which I started doing first in Hawaii because we had the head chef was from New Orleans. So he brought in this Cajun, cuisine and integrated into the Hawaiian cuisine, Asian with their, with the products, and of course the fresh tuna all the time. And so we started creating these dishes with blackening spice, Cajun spice around tuna, and this is one of the favorite dishes. It's still there. That's one thing. Like working with people from, if you work there and then people coming from, like myself, from all over the place, different countries, everybody brings in some influence, depending, of course, if they'll really let them do it. But that's what I like about restaurants, because people have a lot more freedom. You work as a team, everybody has some ideas. Where I work in a hotel is much more of a,
structured.
Yeah. So, but I'm working in all these different places with all these different people, and it just has all these influences on you. But then you come here, and then you gotta look what's available here. I don't want to fly in products from from there and there and there. It costs a lot of money. How do I get it every day? No. So my principle was always to use local ingredients, fresh local ingredients, available every day, reasonably priced, and do something with that.
He's doing he plugged himself there, didn't he? It was
nicely done.
When he drops in the word sustainable, that's when. And we have vegan options, and we know this is a pure advert. What do you enjoy cooking the most in your restaurant? So if there's one dish that would be the go-to dish, apart from the seared tuna, which I've had, it's brilliant.
I was going to say seared tuna.
Oh, okay, damn it.
Because it takes only 2 minutes to cook. You can't really mess it up too much. I mean, just to make sure you stay on there and don't walk away to the toilet in between. It's like it's overcooked. And
is that the most popular dish on your menu?
No, most popular dishes are our tapas actually, which is forget Spanish tapas. It's just the tapas style, right?
Yeah.
And we're probably the first ones who started that.
I was going to say because I remember going to your place 12 years ago when I first came here, and it was like, wow, you got tapas style. I worked in Greece and Turkey, and the meze style is very similar to the tapas style. So I love that style with food on the table and everyone picking. So to come to your restaurant having that style, I was like, brilliant, because I didn't see anyone else doing it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, everyone now serves tapas.
Yeah.
Right, but anyway.
But still different style. We still have our own style. I mean, you can obviously copy something, but then
you can make it
if
your
you
own.
don't
but
really,
it's a sign of if people are copying what you're doing, that's a good thing. I think so anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, look how many people now do a podcast.
100%. I mean,
it's millions.
It's gone gangbusters.
But it's the quality, right? Who does it?
Absolutely.
Right?
We're screwed.
It's the quality of our guests.
See, that's why the restaurant's lasted so long. We've only done 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Do you still do? I haven't been to a restaurant for a little while, but what about desserts? Because your brother and you train, so you still have the passion to do the dessert side of things?
Yes. Because I love desserts, and I think it's totally neglected.
You don't look like you love desserts, so you're a skinny little thing.
No, I'm not skinny, but I...
Well, no, you are skinny. And I've also been told you should never trust a skinny chef. So I'm a little bit concerned.
But that's changed too now.
Is it?
There are a lot of lean chefs. There are a lot of...
Well, that's because they exercise now, isn't it?
But the thing is also, you look at a guy, it's like... What you are what you eat, basically, You like fatty food, you're going to be a fat guy, You look at a fat chef, most likely his food is going to be very rich, right?
If you look at a fat
this
chef,
is what he
you're
likes to eat, right?
Let's name the fattest chef we know.
I'm not, no names, right?
No, come on, let's play this game. Chefs have got knives.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Okay,
no sharks on his own with this one.
No names, no. Yeah. No, it's no, but I was always very active. And I was chubby when I was a kid. I was always put down by my friends. I remember one of my first sports was judo. Then it goes by weight class.
Yeah.
I lost all the time because I was just heavy, and the others were 2 heads taller than me. So I was like, it was not much fun.
Yeah.
But then when I was teenager, I started all kinds of sports. But then I said I will never want to be fat again, thick again. So, but I like to do sports, and I grew up. It's all out. Where I grew up is all outdoors. It's in skiing in the winter. It's ice hockey, skating. In the summer, you got rivers. You got kayaking. You got. Everybody plays soccer, tennis, goes hiking, mountain biking, and it's all outdoors. And we're always outside, even in shitty weather. My mom always had to drag me in because I just couldn't get enough. And my brother and all my friends are the same. We're all nuts about exercise and sports.
Out of interest, where's your brother these days?
Say again?
Where's your brother now?
He's in Germany. Yeah.
Still there? Okay.
Yeah, but he moved around a bit, and he was on a cruise ship. He worked in England, Switzerland. Eventually, he married an English girl.
Okay.
I went to their wedding. That was after I got fired from. I got laid off at Dusit. So I finally had time to go to the wedding. Otherwise, I would have missed that. Yeah. So a good thing also comes out of a bad thing. Anyway, so he married an English girl. They moved back because they want to start a family. And actually, he's back in my hometown. Lives very close to my parents, and has a very good confectionery, bakery, pastry shop there with a cafe, and he's very good. He's doing very well as well.
Nice.
Would you ever, or did you ever consider doing more than just one restaurant?
No.
Okay,
never.
Into that one.
Yeah.
Because I believe if you're not there, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
And I always wonder how they do it. People have a couple of restaurants. I guess you got to have really good people who would work as if they own it, or you, of course, you give them a percentage or a share of this and that. But still, and people, when you go to a restaurant and you actually associate it with somebody's name, the owner's name, the chef's name, and you go there and he's not there, it's disappointing.
Yeah.
I went to two 3-star restaurants in northern Spain, San Sebastian, very well known, very famous chefs, and you go there only once in your life probably. Spend a lot of money, and you expect to meet or to see the chef. And both places he was not there, and it still was very good, but it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh, that one guy is a book signing, that one is doing this and that, flying around the world to, Jesus, I come to a restaurant once in my life, and then you're not there.
And you only do dinner?
Yeah.
Was that another, because you didn't want to work during the daytime?
No.
Lazy?
I mean, it's still, no. Yeah. I think I put it in the wrong job here if I was lazy. I wouldn't recommend this job for somebody who's lazy. No, it's a lot of hours. No, daytime is more, especially when it's busy or when it used to be, then I'm outsourcing products and ingredients and doing this and that, and also have a bit of a life as well. I mean, still long hours but if you open for lunch, you're there all day. Yeah. And it's really not worth it. First of all, it's very hot. We don't have air conditioning. It's just fans, and it's good enough in the evening. But daytime is, people are out doing things. People are here on holidays. They're out on the beach. They play golf. They're out sailing. They're diving. Have late big breakfast buffet, so they're not really hungry when it comes to people who live and work here. They will just probably have a quick one somewhere, and you can compete with the locals. You eat 50 baht, 100 baht. You have freshly cooked food there. Don't have to wait long. It's just, I think just now it's a bit more starting that people have, foreigners have lunch places to go to. Before there wasn't much around, wasn't it? You remember that?
Yeah, 100%.
There's a few places now here, but now the weather.
Russell, he just goes to Peppers.
Yeah.
A couple of pints.
Yeah.
But see, in the raining season, when some of these guys opened, they were doing well because when it rains, what do you do? Okay, let's go for lunch, right?
Yeah.
But the weather is nice. These places are empty.
It's
and when you first opened Tatonka, which is obviously just outside Laguna, there wasn't much else.
No.
So when did Supper Club? Did that come after
3 years later.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so they've been around 20 years now too.
And then you've watched people come and go? as well. That
Yeah.
little strip has had a lot of
A
changes.
little bit of turnover and
No,
change.
there was nothing here. I mean, this was all scrubs and plants over there. I mean, there was nothing. Where the boat avenue is now, it was like it was just
Oh, I
nature.
remember, yeah.
Yeah.
I
There
used
was
to
nothing.
ride my bike over there.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I mean, you wouldn't even
Leave it out
believe
of it.
it's going to be like that. I know it's changed a lot. But better or worse, I mean, it's sad that nice places mostly get overdeveloped because
that's what
people just
happens.
can't get enough, you know.
Yeah.
If you ask me if it stopped 5 years ago, it would have been perfect, you know. But now it's just, I guess.
So what's the plan with now? Are you here for the long term? Are you going to start? Because obviously COVID aside, obviously that's
Yeah.
affecting all of us.
You know, I'm still actually fairly young. I'm not old enough to retire, but I got, you know, you want to have a bit more time for yourself, especially when business is maybe a bit slow, like in the rainy season. So my plan was to take a bit more time off in the summer this last year, which didn't quite work out.
Yeah.
Wanted to travel, you
What
know,
happened
extensively. Travel a bit more and let the staff handle it for a change. Let them do it without me as long as they don't lose any money. It's like a couple of months, go to Europe, go summer, spend, you know, this and that, and be back for the high season all the time. And then slowly, like, you know, but it all came differently now.
Yeah.
It's all changed now. So
But in terms of, okay, let's take a positive spin. We're 2021. Things progress this year, and we're almost. It might not happen this year, but then getting into
Very
next year, we're back to
optimistic,
normal.
yeah.
Well,
Oh, he's Mr. Optimistic,
He's
yeah.
very
I'm just trying to
optimistic.
spin that because, you know, my business is on the line with it as well. But assuming that's the case, is that the track that you, given the choice, that's what you want to do? I'll spend a little bit less time here. I'll go and do my traveling during those sort of off-season times.
Right.
Leave the staff here to run it, and then come back for high season. So
Yeah.
you want to have that kind of split.
I would like to try it,
Yeah,
give
try
it
it,
a
yeah.
try because, you know, in the last few years, it's just really slowed down in Lausanne because of the change of
Yeah,
clientele, change of people coming here, less Europeans, more Asian, a lot more restaurants to choose from. So, and also my staff been be with me many years, so their salary is going up every year a bit.
Yeah.
So
You
now
pay
it's-
them.
once in a while I do, yeah. I actually keep it open so they can have a living, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in many places too. Anyway, so if you look at, you can ask Sean, you know, your salary, staff salary, that's
It's
a big
huge.
chunk, you know.
Yeah.
So if you close it, which we used to do 2 months a year, 1 month like in the beginning of the raining season, like middle of May, we close for a month, you know, we go travel, go to Europe or somewhere, and then open again July, August, which was okay. And September was again very rainy and very slow, so we close another month. And every time I would pay my staff full. So they
Wow.
get 2 months paid holidays.
Can I come and work for you?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Wasn't it? No. Wasn't it? No.
Right.
Do-
man.
do-
Just to let you know, though, when it all can start travelling again, you do go travelling. You've got dogs, yeah?
Do I have?
You got dogs?
Yeah, I do, yes.
Yeah. Just so you know, if you need to be looked after while you're travelling,
Right.
you can go to Canine Point Academy because
Oh,
he
that sounds
has
interesting.
daycare,
Why
week
not?
care,
Yeah.
and monthly care.
Got 4 of those.
There you go.
Job done.
Got 4.
10%. 10% for me. What's your favourite Thai dish to eat? So if you had to go for lunch or dinner, what would be the one thing you would order?
I mean, there's many, really.
Okay, well,
Significant.
give
But
me
one
five.
of my favorites is probably like Gang Pet Patiang, which is like duck, red duck curry, roast duck curry.
Absolutely.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I like the salads, which I of course now integrate in my place in some of the dishes. Like I like the salads because they're light, refreshing. You know, they're zesty, they're a bit spicy, like star bean salad, pomelo salad, and these kind of different salads. They're so magical, you know. And you know, there's many dishes. I eat Thai every day.
When you
Sometimes twice a day. You know,
when you're out there and let's say you're having a pomelo salad and you just get this creative idea, what's the process that you go through to then try to put something new on your menu? Do you go to your restaurant? Do you cook it? Do you try it? Do you get your friends? What's your, how do you do that?
Well, we first of all we see what we can get ingredients, and I don't want to have Thai food on the menu as such because we're not a Thai. I don't want to be a Thai restaurant. There's others, even my staff, they're all brilliant. They're good cooks, They can do all these things. But then I ask him, okay, let's do. I have this idea. Let's do that salad or that curry, and do it with a different way, Like we do the lab guy. Everybody loves the lab guy, but you can get it everywhere. Usually comes a piece of lettuce or so. We put in a crispy cone, put a feta cheese on the bottom, and you eat it like an ice cream cone. And it's just
Russell's nodding and saying yes. He won't like that.
No, I don't like feta cheese, but I've been
Right,
to. I know what it
right.
looks
I
like.
love
but,
feta cheese.
but you can do other things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
So that's
But it's
one
cool, but
I want it.
It's making those subtle changes and what have you that just.
but people are surprised,
Correct,
It's
yeah.
like you eat an ice cream like cornetto, and then at the bottom there's a piece of chocolate, and you thought, oh, just eat this cone, and all of a sudden there's a piece of something good in there
Yeah.
to finish it
Win.
off with.
Which
That's just
is
like,
good unless you get the strawberry cornetto or the strawberry cone. Other cornettos are available. And then it still has a chocolate bit at the bottom, which
Right.
pisses me off because I want a strawberry bit at the bottom, not a chocolate bit.
Right.
So it's
No,
not always
I'm all for
positive.
the chocolate bit myself.
No, it should be a strawberry bit at
No.
the bottom of a strawberry cone.
chocolate bit all day long.
No, not at all. That's just silly.
Did you tell him?
Yeah, I wrote to Walls.
You did
And I
them?
said, "Dear Mr. Walls, I'm very
Sort
angry.
your shit out.
Very angry." So what's the plan for? Sorry, so you're not going to. So Tatonka is the only one. You're not going to do any more. But what about? Are you going
It
to
wears
just?
me out too.
That's it. Just Tatonka.
Yeah.
You're just going to have this one leg,
You
and you're
know-
never going to move it. It's going to be there
You know,
forever.
but 24 years I worked 6 days a week. Now I got 2
Yeah.
days off a week.
Yeah.
Finally, I really enjoyed it. So I can enjoy the island life a bit more. With 1 day off, you don't really go anywhere. You're really thinking about the next day, so you never get a break. That's why we usually close for a month and then I go away completely.
Completely switch
Not even hang around in Bangkok or somewhere else. I've been to other parts of Thailand in the early days, but now we just leave, right? Go
Hopefully,
overseas, and
one day.
because I love to travel, It's just I have the travel bug. I love
Travel.
Well,
to travel.
that's
What's
a-
that?
That's a good segue into Russell's next question.
What's my next question? While you're thinking about that, what sort of things have you got on your bucket list?
bucket list.
That was the next question.
Well, I've probably not a lot. Probably not a lot. I mean, for me,
Well,
it's
thanks for being on
mainly.
the podcast.
You want a long list? You want a short list? Short
Your
list.
top
Actually, it's my travel thing. It's like South America. That's on the bucket list.
Which
Okay.
part though? Because there's many parts of South America.
Various parts.
Good answer.
Yeah. I know it's
Just
a big
all of it.
continent.
Just travel all of it.
I've
yeah.
been as far as Mexico, but that's not really South America yet,
Yeah,
right?
Essential.
So, also to go to, we always love to go to wine countries, because obviously it's my passion as well, food and wine. When there's good food, when there's good wine, there's good food, and so on. So Chile, Argentina would be fantastic. Brazil, of course, has other lures why you want to go there, and so those are 3 big countries, to explore. Would love to go through the Amazon, and so this is what's still missing in my travel repertoire. I've been to many places, but some places I don't want to go, but
Like,
like some places in the Middle East, for instance.
what's wrong with the Middle East?
Okay, now we get Jesus.
I noticed you're wearing. Is that an Africa T-shirt? Have you been to Africa?
Love Africa.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is my size. I've been there a few times now.
Okay. Whereabouts?
Tanzania, Botswana,
Okay.
South Africa. Love to go see the
Well, mate,
animals.
Nobby
and,
lives in Botswana. Your best mate? No, my best mate. That was it.
Fat Rob. Fat Rob lives in Botswana.
He does indeed. Yeah.
Does he?
Mm.
Hi, Fat Rob.
No, love it there. I mean,
Oh, it's
it's also
beautiful.
Africa. So you love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Either go one time and never go back, or you go again and again and again.
Yeah.
It's just such a different world, and it's just still so much the same. It hasn't changed. The
Yeah.
animals are still there. I mean, everything's just still very simple. Most places.
Yeah.
You stay away from the cities, right? But in the countryside, I mean, I remember, I never forget, it was like one of my best experiences, flying in a small Cessna 4-seater over the Okavanga Delta. This is just like you're watching National Geographic on a big
live.
screen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing.
So
I wanna
you
do that
didn't
in a
need to be
balloon.
a National Geographic.
A national
photographer.
giraffe.
You didn't need to be a national giraffe. Get my
We
words out.
saw those too, the giraffes.
You
We
didn't
saw
need to be
those,
a. I'll just fucking just start this bit, a whole bit again. You didn't need to be a National Geographic. It's
It's
hard,
a
isn't it?
difficult-
It's
Yeah.
really hard to get this one out.
He didn't need to be a National Geographic photographer.
'cause
Yeah.
That would have been the whole thing, and we could have ended on that. It would have been a great podcast. We've done the full circle, but fuck it. Can't be asked now. Ask another question.
I'd like to do that same thing, but do it with the hot air balloons. I'd like to do one of those trips over the Okavango.
They're noisy hot air balloons. I don't think you'd enjoy it as much as you think you would. Because
Well,
every 2 seconds you get...
Okay, now what's wrong? Is it
Exactly.
bursting? And what? Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then
no.
you get the quietness
Yeah.
still. It's not going to be fun.
They give you a parachute when you go on
Thanks,
those
just
balloons? Or
Yeah.
they do? What happens, right? They give you a parachute when you go on these
No, they
balloons?
don't, do you?
They don't, no?
You're asking me. I've never been on one.
They're
no.
just... Oh, okay.
I doubt it.
I don't want to go on a hot air balloon.
Really?
Nah.
I mean, it
No
does seem a
interest.
bit odd, to be honest. But
It's just moving so slow,
But
I
also,
think, you know.
it's not just moving slow, and
Yeah.
you're stood next to a gas tank
yeah,
that at any point could explode.
and it's sending fire up into this
It's no smoking.
flammable
though, isn't
material.
it? It's no smoking on the balloon, isn't it?
No. Right. On this
you
silly
can't
note,
smoke there.
Tatonka's open right now. I'm assuming.
Yep. We close 2 days now. We close before it's only Sundays. Now we close Sundays and Mondays.
Okay.
So 2 days closed. So we open Tuesday to Saturday, 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Excellent.
So the way-
And booking's essential. I'm assuming because you're maxed
no,
out all the time.
only when we do something really special. You know, we started doing these wine pairing events, wine pairing dinners, just to get people interested to something. Of course, and soon after, everybody else started doing the same thing. You start with something, and it's like, whoa, you know,
gotta
let's
keep
do
going.
that too,
Yeah.
right? But we keep doing it. The others, I think, stop doing it now. We keep doing this. Next one's coming soon, so we try to pick a theme or a country, and pick the wines specifically, you know, from this country, grape varieties which are originally from there, and make a nice menu, 5 courses, 5 wines, and give it away almost for free. So making a good deal. Most people don't realize
do a
what
nice
a good
dessert
deal is.
one?
and-
Oh, shut
Yeah,
up!
yeah.
Shut the
Do a nice.
Shut up,
I'm
Russell.
all about the dessert.
Russell,
Really?
shut
Oh,
up.
100%.
Our dessert menu is fantastic, and people get
Russell, shut
we
up.
get
No.
compliments for
Dessert wine. I tell you a story.
We
I
have a
went-
dessert wine. You
Yeah,
can have that
ridiculous.
anytime.
I went to one of those Shane dinners. They're called the Shane, the really posh dinners where they have to wear the.
Oh, the road dessert.
Yeah, all those
They
ones.
put the chain
yeah, they
around
put
your
the
neck,
chain around
right?
your neck, and you sat on a table, and I got invited to it, and it was this pairing of wine and food, and there's me sat there having no idea, trying to think, yeah, it tastes like shit. Didn't like that. Didn't like that. Didn't like that. Didn't like that. I don't understand wine and how it all flavours.
Okay.
Anyway, got to the dessert wine at the end, and I drank it, and it was fizzy, and it tasted like pineapple. So to me, it tastes like a can of Lilt, which was a tropical drink from the UK. which
It's
you
a
get.
tropical.
It was, yeah, totally tropical taste. So I said to this table of 10 other people who were all food and wine experts, oh, this tastes like a can of Lilt. Didn't go down very well, apparently. I didn't get invited back.
They expelled it then.
I was expelled
Yeah,
well, yeah. Anyway, that's my story about chain dinners.
All right.
Dessert
I
one's
just don't
wicked,
have the
just
No,
very
we're not
sweet.
so serious about that.
I
We
don't
make
have a
it
palate
casual.
for... I don't get it, though. I don't get caviar. I don't like the taste of fine wines. It doesn't...
Right.
Maybe I'm just a...
Well, it's a bit-
Essex
I mean,
Yeah,
guy.
but
There's a
wine is
there's a
really
limit
some-
though. I mean, like with certain wines, once you go like a really really ridiculously nice fine wine, well I suppose with anything like a really nice proper high end fine whiskey, is different from having like if you're comparing a Jack Daniels with a Johnny Walker or a
Mate, if it's not a Jaeger bomb, I'm not interested. And on that note, Tatonka is open. Make sure you go and book it. You can go online and find it. Go on Facebook and find it. Harold, thank you very much for
Welcome.
being on our little
Nice one,
It was a
podcast.
thanks.
pleasure.
It's been great.
Very
We look
good,
forward
thank
to going. But next time, Russell, you set this up. Can we do it at Tatonka in the evening, so at least we can get some food?
But
Otherwise,
then
I've got...
he'll be slightly busy.
Oh, he would be busy.
No.
That's
To be
true.
to be fair,
Yeah.
unless we're going to
Yeah.
do this in the kitchen, which would be rather hot.
But
True.
you can interview somebody else in my place too. Very welcome to.
Oh, there we go.
Boom. Champion
Sold.
to that one.
And you can have some food.
So we'll do that. We'll
Before,
do that with the
Before I
desserts.
eat my this,
And
this
you have
bacon
dessert
quiche.
afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent.
Cool, man. Harold, thank you.
Hey,
Cheers,
pleasure.
Big H.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much. Thanks.
Cheers, Russell.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Can't say that 5 times fast.
What?
Tatonka, Tatonka. There you go.
I can say Tatonka, Tatonka, Tatonka. What I can't say is National Geographic photographer, apparently. We just said it now. Jesus, that was a bit of a joke, wasn't it? Terrible. Actually, I went out for dinner the other night to a place called Bella's House 1978, which is one of these home restaurants
Okay.
where you have to book it before you go because it's not always open.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was telling everyone there at the dinner, I was saying everyone, the 4 other people that were there, that I was a podcast guy, and that's what I do for a living, interview people. And I just realised I'm terrible at talking. I picked the wrong job, Russ.
I can't
Anyway,
talk.
that was Harold.
The big H.
Harold Schwarzenegger. Apparently, was that the joke you wanted to make?
Well, no, it wasn't a joke. It was the Schwarz, but without. I just.
Oh, I
yeah.
see. Yeah, that's not going to go down very well, is
No,
it?
no.
That's hashtag Black Lives Matter type thing.
That's
You can't
dangerous
use that joke.
ground, unless you're in the States, in which case, at the minute,
Although
you say
it
what you
is a
like.
very funny joke.
I thought it was very good at the time.
You could make it Niger, as in the country. So, are you from Niger? No, it doesn't work, does it?
No, it doesn't work at
No.
all. Should we get back to Harold?
Have we upset someone?
Probably.
Yeah, well, get over it.
Typical. Yeah.
Get over it.
Suck it up, buttercups.
Go and destroy the Congress. That's what I say. Go on, team. Go and kick ass.
Nice little segue there.
Thank
Back
you.
to Harold. That was good. Interesting story.
Harold is not Donald Trump, by the way. I should point out. I like Harold, and very German.
Very German.
He was very efficient on that
Yep.
podcast. He told us he's listened to a few because he was
Yep.
ready to know. He knows what to say and had. No, I like him, and he's a cool guy. And his food, and I have to say, I haven't eaten there as much as I should do because I don't eat out very often because I'm a cheapskate. But the times
It is
I've
very
eaten
good.
there, the food is awesome.
It's really good.
It's really, really
Yeah.
good. And I know that he's been on the island for a long time, so
I
definitely
didn't
go and
realise he'd
support
been
him.
here quite that long, actually, to be honest.
No, longer than us.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
There's only a few of us left that have been here this long.
I know.
Diminishing group.
Put them all in prison and send them off somewhere. No, I like Harold, and I think his flavours are really eclectic, and I like that about his cooking as well. He's very eclectic, and it's not just Thai Western fusion. He doesn't put the buzzwords.
And you can see from his travels that he's obviously, and he mentioned it in the pod a couple of times, but yeah, he's
the
picked
black
up
and tuna once again. That's us
picked
being
up on
racist.
but picked up on certain things and thought, I can utilise this and I can utilise that to make his own style, which is nice. So no, and again, it's great stuff in there. I like it.
Top Gun, it's a great way to start the new year. Happy New Year, by the way.
I haven't seen you. Have I seen you this year? I've no idea what day it is. What everyone's like, oh, Happy New Year. I'm like, is it what? Did I miss something?
When do we say? When do you not?
When
say
do you
Happy
stop
New Year?
saying Happy New Year?
I thought it was always after the 7th, which was yesterday, which was Russian New Year. Happy Russian New Year. I made a joke about that.
Did it bomb?
Yeah, it did. It was terrible, actually.
What was
I
it?
said you must go to the Russian New Year Christmas dinner. And yeah, no one got it. And then I was going to put, don't be stalling. It's time to go. But that didn't. Should we move on?
You want everyone to rush into the Christmas
Good
dinner.
one.
Hey.
Good one. So anyway, I don't know when you stop saying Happy New Year, but Happy New Year to you, the listener. Thank you for joining us. We've got a good year planned.
We sort of do.
2021
Yeah.
hasn't started the best, has it? Really? School's closed. I'm back to homeschooling.
So the first
nice.
4 days of this year were pretty good. I mean, it's a low bar coming in for last year, but the first 4 or 5 days were actually pretty good. It's been a bit bumpy since then, but
Anyway, look, my advice to everyone is stay positive, not COVID positive or AIDS positive. So, stay away from those two things. But stay positive, wash your hands and all that sort of shit. But you know what?
that's when you go to the doctor and say, I've got positive news for you. Is that a good thing or?
The one thing I did say to people, though, I've described this as that we're in the last 10 minutes of the game. Of any game. It can be basketball, it can be rugby, it can be football, it can be hockey, it can be netball. Don't give a shit.
This is extra time as opposed to sudden death.
Yeah. Is it overtime? Oh, God, now we're getting confused. Is it overtime? Because that keeps going if you draw, doesn't it? Anyway,
Yeah.
Anyway, my point being is we're in the last 10 minutes and we're winning the game.
Yeah.
And what some of us are doing is taking our foot off the pedal and we're making some changes. We're making some substitutions.
So what you're saying is what we don't want to do is Liverpool and Anfield in 1989 against Arsenal.
Don't take your foot off the pedal. You've got to
Correct.
keep going until that last little bit. Wear your mask. Stop travelling to provinces where there's outbreaks. And let's just get through this.
Just chill the fuck
Honestly,
out. For the next few months, just chill the fuck out.
My kids are being taught by me.
Yeah.
I'm just leaving that out there. So,
For the rest of the world, please understand.
and remember, they're the future.
Yeah. For the rest of the world, please understand.
Thank you for listening,
Jay's
Mr.
kids
Listener.
need to go to school.
Go to K9 Point Academy if you want to rent a dog. I just saw the signs for rent. If you want to leave your dog. Oh, God.
If you want to board your dog,
If you'd like to, thank
send
you,
them to
Russell.
daycare,
Yeah.
or have some fun at the beach
Or
club.
if you know how to talk, come and do a podcast with us. Go to K9 Point Academy, check it out, and check out his Barkcast. There's some great advice there, especially if you're getting a new puppy.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about in a minute. But if you want to check out the Leshark and Friends and all the other stuff that we do, go to
PhuketPodcast.com.
That's it. Thank you very much, listener,
Cheers,
for
compadre.
listening. Thank you, Russell,
See
for
you soon.
talking.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye.